the United States is grappling with a looming copper crisis. And it's a story that deserves attention because copper is the unsung hero of our modern world. From the wiring in our homes to the batteries in electric vehicles, copper is everywhere and demand is skyrocketing. By 2050, the International Energy Agency predicts global copper demand will jump from 26 million tons in 2024 to nearly 40 million tons. But here's the problem: the U.S. only produces about half the copper it consumes. And with just 2 smelters in the country, one in Arizona and one in Utah, we're struggling to keep up. Most of our copper ore gets shipped overseas for processing, often to China, which dominates global refining. This reliance on foreign supply chains, coupled with long permitting processes that can delay new mines by decades, puts the U.S. in a vulnerable spot. Enter Arizona, the copper state, which produces 70% of America's copper and might just hold the key to addressing this crisis. In this video, we'll dive into why copper is so critical, what's driving the shortage, and how a promising project in Arizona's backyard could help secure the nation's future. Let's start with why copper matters. It's not just about pipes or pennies. Copper is the backbone of the green energy revolution. Electric vehicles use 4 times more copper than gas-powered cars. And wind turbines and solar panels rely heavily on it too, with the push for clean energy and advanced technologies like AI and 5G. Copper demand is only going to climb. But the U.S. is falling behind. We mine about 1.1 million tons of copper annually. Yet we import nearly half of what we use, mostly from Chile, Canada, and Peru. Globally, countries like China control the refining process. And with potential trade disruptions like the 50% tariff on copper imports proposed by President Trump in 2025, the stakes are high. Add to that the fact that many existing mines, like Arizona's Morenci, could be tapped out in the next 20 years. And you've got a recipe for a supply chain crisis. The U.S. has vast copper reserves, 728 billion pounds still in the ground, according to the Arizona Geological Survey. But getting it out is the challenge. Permitting a new mine can take up to 29 years due to regulatory hurdles, environmental concerns, and, in some cases, opposition from local communities, including Native American tribes. Now, let's zoom in on Arizona, where a company called Ivanhoe Electric is shaking things up with their Santa Cruz project in Casa Grande, just 40 miles south of Phoenix. This project could be a game changer, aiming to become the first new U.S. copper mine in over a decade. With production slated to start by 2028, that's lightning fast in mining terms. Where projects often drag on for decades, what makes Santa Cruz stand out? For one, it's on private land, which streamlines the permitting process significantly. Ivanhoe Electric CEO Taylor Belden says this allows them to bypass much of the red tape that bogs down other projects, like the stalled Resolution copper mine near Superior, Arizona, which has been mired in legal battles for over a decade due to concerns from Native American groups about sacred lands. Santa Cruz is expected to produce pure copper metal on site using a leaching process, meaning no ore needs to be shipped overseas for refining. This is huge because the U.S. has only 2 smelters and they're already at capacity. By producing copper ready for U.S. consumers, Santa Cruz could reduce our reliance on foreign supply chains and strengthen national security. But it's not just about supply, it's about jobs and economic impact too. Arizona's copper industry already supports 49,800 jobs and pumps billions into the economy. Projects like Santa Cruz could create hundreds, if not thousands, more high-paying jobs in Casa Grande and beyond. Freeport-McMoRan, another major player, operates 7 copper mines in the U.S., and their latest project is set to produce over 200 million pounds of copper annually. Taseco's Florence Copper Project, also in Arizona, will add another 85 million pounds using environmentally friendly methods. These projects show that Arizona has the resources and know how to lead. The charge, still, there's a catch: mining isn't without controversy. Environmental concerns like water usage in a drought-prone state and the impact on local ecosystems are real. For example, the proposed Copper World mine near Tucson has raised fears about groundwater depletion and damage to the scenic Santa Rita Mountains. Indigenous communities like the San Carlos Apache have also voiced opposition to projects like Resolution Copper, citing the destruction of sacred sites. Balancing these concerns with the need for copper is a tightrope walk. So, how does the Santa Cruz project address these challenges? Ivanhoe Electric is betting on technology and efficiency. Their leaching process minimizes environmental impact compared to traditional mining. And because the copper is processed on-site, it reduces the carbon footprint of shipping ore across the globe. Plus, being on private land avoids some of the conflicts over public or tribal lands that have stalled other projects. But it's not a silver bullet. The U.S. still needs to address its smelting capacity, which is woefully inadequate even if new mines come online. We can't process all the ore domestically without more smelters. Recycling could help about. A third of U.S. copper demand is met through recycled metal, but we need to scale that up too. And then there's the global picture. Chile and Peru dominate copper mining, and China's grip on refining isn't loosening anytime soon. Trump's executive order in March 2025 to add copper to the critical minerals list could help by speeding up permitting and offering tax incentives. But it's just one piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about the bigger picture. Copper isn't just a commodity, it's a national security issue. The White House's 2025 investigation into copper imports highlights the risks of relying on a handful of foreign suppliers. If a country like China restricts exports or a trade war escalates, the U.S. could be left scrambling. Projects like Santa Cruz are a step towards self-sufficiency. But we need more: streamlining permitting, investing in smelting capacity, and supporting responsible mining practices like those certified by groups such as the Copper Mark could make a big difference. Arizona's got the reserves, the workforce, and the innovation to lead, but it needs the political will to make it happen. The National Mining Association estimates the U.S. has 48 million tons of copper reserves across states like Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. Unlocking that potential could power the technologies of tomorrow, everything from EVs to the electric grid. As we wrap up, let's reflect on what's at stake. Copper is the lifeblood of our tech-driven, green energy future, but the U.S. is at a crossroads. We can keep relying on foreign imports, risking supply chain disruptions and economic vulnerability. Or we can invest in domestic solutions like the Santa Cruz project. Arizona's backyard is rich with opportunity, but it's not without challenges: environmental, cultural, and logistical. The good news? Companies like Ivanhoe Electric are showing it's possible to mine smarter, faster, and more responsibly. If the U.S. can cut through the red tape, scale up recycling, and build more smelting capacity, we could turn this copper crisis into a copper comeback. What do you think? Can Arizona lead the way in solving America's copper shortage? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the issues shaping our world.